What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gersh1.
And today we're back at it to answer more of your questions in another installment of For the Greater WAAAGH. Just kidding.
Whoa.
It's For the Greater.
This is like the second time, because last week you did the same thing, and I just didn't say WAAAGH.
I was on cruise control. I was on autopilot. I was on yeet.
Yep.
Lean.
That vine, yeet. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question, because we get to those questions first. That is what Ham the Red did. He asks, are there any known Space Marine chapters that are hybrids of two different Primarchs? For example, Ultramarines mixed with Iron Warriors. Technically, there shouldn't be, but the possibility is there. And the reason for that is I see two scenarios. After the Horus Heresy, whether you were a loyalist or a traitor, if you came from a traitor Primarch, you were going to be killed. And what happened was that a lot of these legions had expeditionary forces away from the core of their legion. So when the legion betrayed the Emperor, they might have not betrayed the Emperor because they were separate from
like the core that was going bad.
Yeah. So then those could have fought for the loyalists, came back to the Imperium, and the Imperium, whether it was an Adeptus Mechanicus, a High Lord, another Primarch or something, they could have said, like, don't tell anybody about your heritage. We're going to hide that from, the rest of your battle brothers and the rest of the Imperium. And that's where you get all these successor chapters that have unknown Primarchs.
Yeah.
So then that would lead to, if you want to bolster those ranks,
you have to use a different Primarch.
Right, yeah.
The more, I guess, well-known case of this is the Death Watch. Those are literally battle brothers from all other chapters together into one.
Oh, yeah.
So you have essentially a unit or a whole chapter of all the Primarchs in one chapter. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then you also have situations where right now, like, let's say you have the Blood Ravens, and the Blood Ravens are supposedly coming from the Thousand Sons. So the Primarch Magnus. Well, if Guilliman comes around and he gives you the Primaris Marines, and the gene seed of the Primaris Marines comes from, like, if it's an unknown chapter, they're going to get Ultramarine.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you might have the confusion, or that's where you might have the hybridization of the chapter, or you have Primaris Marines that are one thing, and then you have
like the firstborn that are another.
Yeah. So it's possible.
It happens. I mean, it's like, do you want your drink shaken or stirred? Either way, there's mingling going on.
There is, yeah. Docking is happening.
Because, what is it? It's okay to be single on ChristianMingle.com.
That's an old jingle.
It is. I probably butchered that.
Is that? Yeah, because you don't want to be single on Christian Mingle. Or no, you do.
You do, because you're only together when you're married, and you consummate the marriage with God.
That's true.
The Emperor.
We should create an app that is a dating app specifically for wargamers. That would probably be a sausage fest.
Probably it will be.
Yeah, it will be.
It'll be like that one movie,
Sausage Party.
That movie was something else, I tell you.
You know what? Another, like the show Big Mouth. Have you seen it on Netflix?
No, my wife watches it, but I've never actually seen an episode.
The latest season is like, what the fuck is this? It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like, they're supposed to be like middle schoolers, right?
Yeah.
Why are they doing like all these like...
Because of the hormone monsters.
Those monsters.
Yeah.
It's just Slanesh, really. That's all it is.
Basically, yeah. Good question, though.
Next question is by Yarshman. Could an Ogren, a Guardsman, a Kasserkin, and a Ministorum Priestess kill a single Plague Marine?
For sure.
Yeah, especially when you got them all squatted up like that.
Yeah, it's also about chance and probability. There used to be a show on the Discovery Channel where they would put like two different animals and fight them. or two different animals, and then the one with two different warriors. So it'd be like the samurai versus the Aztec warrior.
Yep.
And they would be like, out of 1,000 fights, the samurai wins 60% of it. So I think it's one of those situations where, like, out of 1,000 fights, probably 80% or 90% the Plague Marine would win.
Yeah.
But there's always that 10% where, you know, the what you mentioned would win.
Because, I mean, for the most part, these are all just humans, except for the Ogryn. It's like a beefier variant of that. When you look at a Space Marine, you know how tough Space Marines are. And then you're adding the resiliency of a Nurgle. So that's already going to play a huge factor into it. And not just that, but then it's like, is it a Psyker? What type of weapons do they have? All that kind of thing. So, probability.
Right. And then on the tabletop, you could always get lucky.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Even though Plague Marines are tough. Like, it's hard to kill them.
They're not just tough. They're disgustingly resilient.
Oh, the tabletop. This next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. This is the third time asking, what's the lore been hearing about the High Lords of Terra trying to betray Guilliman? I don't think they're trying to betray Guilliman. I think that they're kind of just like protecting their power. They've been indoctrinated into this mentality that like everybody's trying to get them, which they are. But Guilliman is not. Guilliman is...
He's changing the status quo in a way. So that's in a way that's an attack on their power.
Yeah.
Indirectly, I guess.
Especially because he was like, yeah, we're gonna have to split the Imperium in two. Well, because of the Warp Storm, or what is it called, the Great Rift, but
yeah, Cicatrix Maledictum.
But still. And then there's like a really interesting bit about Guilliman and the Church, and how the High Lords of Terra and the Adeptus Ministorum have sent, what would they be called? Like, not mercenaries, but like diplomats, I guess, representing the Church, and they're supposed to follow Guilliman around and try to convert him. And Guilliman's just kind of like, he does not trust them, so that's where the friction comes in, because he doesn't believe that the God Emperor is the God Emperor, and he knows about the Imperial truth. However, he understands he needs to maintain
some type of like
tie or something.
Yeah.
Because if he just straight up says like, nah, screw the Imperial or
the ecclesiarchy.
Yeah. Then shit pops off.
Because that's like humanity's hope. That's like what they rely on. Because in the bleak darkness of the future, like you need something to believe in. You need something to put all your stresses and woes away to kind of help you chug through it.
Yeah. We all kind of need that nowadays with this, what is it, like the fourth wave of the COVID stuff?
Something like that. It's like keeps getting DLC after DLC.
Yeah. And it gets worse. And it gets closer to closer to home, sadly. Next question.
Gideon Kreider. If GW makes the Legion of the Damned a playable army, would you want them to bring back old named characters, even those that are not loyalists of the traitor legions like Rylanor?
Now, I have to get a refresher on the lore of the Legion of the Damned, because from my understanding, the Legion of the Damned were the Fire Drakes.
Firehawks.
Firehawks, yeah. So, like, that's that. It could be a cool situation where you have, like, old name characters that died come back. But from my understanding in the lore, that is not what the Legion of the Damned is.
Unless they're doing another retcon.
Right, yep.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah. Because they have a book, don't they? Yeah, a recent book.
And it's like, they really need to do more with, like, the Army of the Light and, like, that type of mentality and, like, the Emperor becoming a god, but also having, like, saints and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they've been tiptoeing around that for a long time. So hopefully GW decides to give us concrete information on that. And hopefully with that, we get more stuff on, like, perpetualism, what it is, what it works, how does one become a perpetual, does it have anything to do with like the Legion of the Damned and stuff like that. So
yeah, and we talk about Imperial Saints. Those would be cool.
Yes.
Out of all the characters, which one do you think you would want to see back?
Definitely the Primarchs. Like, I want to see a Legion of the Damned, like black armor, skulls, flames for like Sanguinius, Ferrus Manus. That'd look really cool.
Ferrus Manus coming back as like some type of Legion of the Damned would be badass. Next question.
This is by Nick Bradshaw. In your opinion, what is the worst atrocity to happen to any one of the race's civilian populations?
It gets pretty nasty, especially when you deal with demonic incursions. Recent lore, pretty is makes it all pretty and stuff. I was gonna say pretty. No, I can't even say it. But yeah, like demons are not fun. They do really disgusting, torturous things to people.
Yeah, look at the demon Kulaba.
Yeah, same thing with the Dark Eldar raids. There was a story of they left one survivor on a space station, and they skinned everybody else alive. So he had to walk through corridor after corridor where like people were still alive and their flesh was like flayed off their bodies. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm. How do you like ever become normal after that?
Yeah, you go crazy.
Go bonkers.
Go stupid.
Another thing too that doesn't sound as bad, but when you actually like think about it, it's really messed up, is when the Dark Eldar tricked the Tau into sending their entire military force to fight them, but it turns out that they were just an illusion of their armada, and the Dark Eldar had already infiltrated the world and kidnapped every Tau civilian on that planet. And with that, they essentially bolstered their army like tenfold, because all the Tau prisoners were being used to become grotesques. So those are essentially like super steroided up, like mindless beasts that the Dark Eldar have to use now.
Yeah. The Dark Eldar in general are just fucked up.
They are. But that's why we love them.
Yeah. This question comes from Shingling. Wait, hold on. Something tacos. Hey, Sound Alchemist, what are your thoughts on GW's recent point facts? FAQ. Do you think GW is trying to bury the Tau for good with the point hits on drones taken as a squad of 4 to 12? 20 points per drone? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's horrible. I actually started recording my thoughts and reviews on that. And it's bad. It is like the Tau are already like fighting to stay relevant in 9th edition, because in my opinion they're not that good in this edition. They're the units that are able to take and hold objectives with like objective secure and all that, they're not as resilient as like Adeptus Custodes, or they're not as fast as like the Harlequins, and because of that they're gonna struggle to get points, and all their supporting units pretty much went up in point values. The drones, which you use to keep your riptides and your battle suits alive, they went up in points. So you're going to have less of those there to like bubble wrap your units. Also, less marker light support. And overall, it's hard to stay on top with the Tau right now. And I'm going to see that firsthand because I just decided to make a crusade army for the Tau Empire. So.
Now, what's the difference between points and power level? Do you still get like if you add the drones, is it still going up with the power level?
Yeah, the power level still does fluctuate. It does go up a little bit, but it mitigates that a little bit more because you're able to play around more with points as opposed to power level. Because with power level, you pick a unit and it's that power level regardless of what upgrades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with drones, they did go up in power level, but you don't really have upgrades given to drones, so it still kind of hurts them.
Yeah, I was looking at the drones because I'm also starting a Tau army, and the gun drone doesn't make sense to bring in. The other one that kind of does is a shield drone, and then there's one that the Pathfinders have that gives an additional 6 inches for range to any strike team, or what's the other one?
Breacher team.
Yeah. And that's like, whoa, that's awesome. But I didn't know that the power level was going to go up. I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I also am starting to see that Fire Warriors are weak. Super, super weak. Like, I understand why it's so frustrating to play Fire Warriors now. I'm still going to do it because they just look cool. But I think... yeah, like their weakness is really where it hurts too.
Yeah, like they got one of the best just starting troop guns, and they get better with that 6-inch range drone.
Yeah.
But like they're super easy to just wipe out the map.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like they're gonna die within the first turn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing Tau and you don't get first turn, you're fucked.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't get first turn, you're gonna fall apart.
Yeah. And then it also, the way the system or the way the synergy works, you need a castle up, and I hate that. Especially if you're trying to get, excuse me, especially if you're trying to get fast moving stuff. So I really want to get like piranhas and what's the hammerhead? But like if the synergy is in the core, like what's the point of having these fast vehicles?
They're there to like
distract.
Yeah, distractions, or to like feint, like, oh, I'm about to get charged, and then enemy brings in or overextends, and then your whole army shoots at that.
I do like the fact that you can overwatch, or friendly units within, what,
6 inches? Yeah.
It can overwatch. That could be devastating, especially if you have like two breacher teams, or two, what are the other ones? The strike teams next to each other. The only thing that sucks is you could only overwatch once. So it's like, if you get charged and these two units overwatch, I think you can't
overwatch against another charge.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
So that's the only thing they got going for them in 9th edition, is they get free overwatch, where with everybody else it's a command point.
Yeah, but
yeah. There's ways to kind of make them not suck as bad, but they still suck.
Next question.
This one's by ScatG. I watch your videos all the way through. Does that mean I get a sticker?
Yes, a sticker of our love.
A purity seal of appreciation.
This question comes from Warsmith Gauze. Iron within or iron without?
I would definitely go without.
Why?
Because I feel like if you got iron inside and you move the wrong way, it's going to like puncture something.
That's true, yeah.
But if it's iron without, then if you have like metal skin, then it kind of reduces your flexibility.
That's true.
I'll still go without, though.
Yeah, me too, just because you can get shot at. It's like I got iron outside, not inside.
Like Luke Cage.
My throat. Next question. You got one?
I got the Hedge X1. I've got a question. What happens when a Tyranid hive gets transported into the warp? Particularly, I was thinking about the Gardens of Nurgle.
They'd fight. Yeah.
I mean, they're very animalistic, very predatory beings. So if you put them in a situation that they're not used to, they're going to rely on their instincts more so than synapse, I believe. Because the way they tend to do strategy and tactics is through synapse beasts. And if those get taken out in the warp, they're just going to go crazy and just consume and devour anything they can get their hands on.
Yeah. Another thing too, because they're animalistic, I would think that they would try to get out of the warp as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that's what animals do. Like if you put an animal in a situation that it's not comfortable with, it's trying to get out of that situation. So.
Or it'll try and hide.
Right. Yeah.
But most animals are comfortable hiding, so that's why they try hiding.
They'll hide like in the webway. That'd be cool. Which.
That'd be scary.
Well, the Tyranids did attack Kamara. So they were in the webway.
Yeah, and there is a whole hive fleet that specifically fights warped beings.
Yeah.
Demons and whatnot.
I still have to do a 40 facts video on them. My favorite hive fleet so far has been the Kronos one. The one that seems like it time traveled.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Or is it the Kronos? No. Kronos is the Chaos one.
Is it? I thought that was Gorgon.
Oh, damn. I don't even remember.
I'm thinking
of the Ouroboros one. That's the one where it eats its own. Yeah.
I eat my own.
Yeah. I wish I could. I'm going to remove some ribs.
Hey, who wouldn't, right?
Next question.
D.S. Van Pinkston. Was Magnus a stronger Psyker than Malkador? And if so, how much stronger?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, in terms of strength within psychic powers within the Imperium, definitely it was the biggie, then Magnus, then I'd say Malkador.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because then you also have like all the 1,000 Suns and how strong they were. You've got like Tigurius and the Ultramarines, so.
Arimon. And then you also have now the wife.
Oh, You mean the mother?
or whatever it's called. Yeah. But
She's only a mother
Mother.
in that, like, she helped create them in the gene factories.
yeah, but I think the book specifically stated that she was an incredibly powerful psyker.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. If you guys would like us to talk about something very specific, be specific in your question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said that. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. There was a lot of comments about the hogs and the pharaoh hogs and pigs and piglets. That was fun.
I'll probably do a presentation on pigs in the 40K universe. Cyber pigs.
Hey, cyber pigs from Mars?
Yeah, that's I would watch that.
Me too. Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
Out.